Hi, y'all. Theme and inference. I know you've heard those two words before because your teachers have been telling you about it. And you know what? That is awesome because whenever you're reading anything you're reading, you need to have the ability to understand what's being talked about. Now, I want to tell you something real quick. If you read a story, if you read a novel, if you read a newspaper article, there's always something that the person who is writing is trying to communicate. Now, theme has to do with that message, the theme of the story, the theme of the book, the theme of the article. If it's an article, say, about air pollution, oh, the air has got too many pollutants going into it, then you know, if that's what the article is about, that's the theme. They're trying to communicate about air pollution. If the theme is about how much wheat is out there in the open field, and it talks about the stalks of wheat, maybe not stalks of wheat, but you know what I'm saying, nor the stalks of corn, that's probably more appropriate. See those stalks of corn, how tall they are, how beautiful they are, how they spread across the land. What's the theme? They're telling you, talking to you about the stalks of corn. There's also something called inference. Now, if I was talking about stalks of corn and how beautiful it was and how they spread across the land, I may be trying to infer that, you know what? That's a sight to be appreciating. That's a sight we all should admire and look into and enjoy. And maybe you might want to get involved with it yourself. Maybe you want to grow some corn. See, that's what inference is. Inference is something that you may not be told directly, but it might be implied or suggested, or you might be able to assume it by the way it's being talked about. I mentioned air pollution. I can remember many years ago as a boy in New York State, we drive by this one plant and I could smell sulfur. Oh, it was awful. Now, I think they've cleaned it up since then, but man, the stench was bad. You say, why were they doing it? They were making paper. The chemicals they were using were just ridiculous. And I remember, you see the white smoke coming out of the chimneys. Well, that was then. Things have changed a little since then. But whenever you read about something, they're trying to communicate something to you about a situation, an event, a person, place, or thing. In one story we have here, it talks about homeless. Let me read it to you real quick. Her name was Anne, and we met in the Port Authority bus terminal several Januaries ago. I was doing a story on homeless people. She said I was wasting my time talking to her. She was just passing through, although she'd been passing through for more than 2 weeks. To prove to me that this was true, she rummaged through a tote bag and a manila envelope and finally unfolded a sheet of typing paper and brought out her photographs. They were not pictures of family or friends or even a dog or cat. Its eyes brown red and the flash bulb's white. They were pictures of a house. It was like 1,000 houses in 100 towns. Not suburb, not city, but somewhere in between. With aluminum siding and a chain link fence. A narrow driveway running up to a one-car garage and a patch of backyard. The house was yellow. I looked on the back for a date or name, but neither was there. There was no need for discussion. I knew that she was trying to tell me, but it was something I had often felt. She was not adrift alone anonymous, although her bags and her raincoat, with the grime shadowing its creases, had made me believe she was. She had a house, or at least once upon a time had one. Inside were curtains, a couch, a stove, pot holders. You are where you live. She was somebody. Well, That is a description of someone who probably lost something. And this writer is using some very powerful language to make you understand what she's losing. You see, he doesn't have to just say to you, she's hurting. He doesn't have to say to you, she's really having some major problems. He doesn't have to say to you, oh my God, we got to help this person out. Because what he's writing is saying that already. All you got to do is infer that. There's a message in this. There is a theme in this. That theme is this woman is going through some bad times and doesn't have a place. She's homeless. You see, folks, when you read, you can understand what they're saying. You can understand the theme simply by carefully reading the words that describe the situation, the message, the communication you're getting from the writer. And then you infer. You infer by reading closely, paying attention to those words, and then you can make assumptions about what that writer is talking about. Friends, it's actually a lot easier than you think. In fact, you can do it. Not only should I say you can do it, I'll say I know you can do it. Because it's all about diving into what's being written. Read it carefully and take a moment and think about it. That's all it takes. It's really not that hard. Now you might say, yeah, but I've been reading a book that's 200 pages long. So just try to remember everything. If you're really getting into it, you'll be able to. Well, yeah, but this is a little shorter. So if it's 15 pages, makes it easier. The theme is the message. What are they trying to communicate? The inference is the underlying commentary. You don't see it written clearly, but it's there. You infer it. You assume it. And friends, if you take the time, you can do it too. You have a good one, okay? Later.